And what do you do with the enriched uranium? And Israel's position is very simple. Just as you don't need a heavy water facility to have a peaceful program, and you don't need an underground bunker where you're putting your centrifuges for a peaceful program, you do not need to enrich uranium in Iran for them to have a peaceful program. A lot of people don't know that. There are 17 countries around the world that have nuclear reactors that do not domestically enrich uranium, including your northern neighbor, Canada, and your southern neighbor, Mexico. So Israel's position is very simple. Iran has to have a peaceful program. Okay, give them a peaceful program. And frankly, as an aside, we don't know why they need a peaceful program, because they're awash in oil and gas, and everybody knows why they're building, ICBMs and underground facilities and heavy water reactors and all that. We know, everybody understands that they're trying to build a weapons program. But if they want to, con the world and people want to give them a peaceful program, we say, fine, give them a peaceful program. But they do not need a domestic enrichment to have a peaceful program, and I think that's not understood. They say they have a right to enrich. No, there's no right to enrich. Why should they have a peaceful program, given that they've defied the international community for the last 10 years? They've built a secret facility at Natanz first before they were caught, and then at Fordo, this facility in the mountain, they were caught. And this is not a regime that has a track record of abiding by the Security Council resolutions about their program, so there's no reason why they should have it. And the risk that you take, it's important to understand that if you leave Iran with a domestic enrichment capability, how can you go to other countries around the world that want peaceful programs and tell them you can't have domestic enrichment capability? And then you really can blow up the whole NPT treaty. You can really blow up all these deals that you're signing with many countries around the world for civilian nuclear energy, when they come to you and they say, wait a second, Iran gets to have domestic enrichment and we can't have domestic enrichment? So we just say, look, you have the right principle. We say to the president, to the international community, you have the right principle. They shouldn't have anything that they don't need for a peaceful program. Well, they don't need a heavy water facility, they don't need this underground bunker, and they do not need domestic enrichment. Israel's position is that they should have no centrifuges, no enriched uranium, no heavy water facility, and no underground bunker there. You take that all out, then dismantle the sanctions. Before that, keep ratcheting up the pressures. The question is, how much can Israel and the United States forge a common policy? We want to forge a maximum ground on that common policy. We think on two of those issues we're very closely aligned. As I said, on Iraq and Fordo. On the issues of uranium enrichment and centrifuges, we're discussing that with the administration. I think what some people feel, frankly, they don't feel that we're not right. They think that our position makes a lot of sense, but they say, you know what, Iran will never agree to it. We'd love to have it happen, but Iran will never agree to it. And then there's two things that you have to consider. Number one is, you can't run a negotiation based on what Iran will agree to or not agree to, because then you won't get anything that you want. And the second thing is, don't assume that what seems like impossible today won't become possible tomorrow. Everyone says that the sanctions that you've put in place have now created a situation where Iran is prepared to do things today that they weren't prepared to do tomorrow. Who's to say in another 2 years, another 6 months, another year, that they won't be prepared to do tomorrow what they're not willing to do today? Keep ratcheting up the pressures. And you can achieve something that you might not think is achievable. Remember, you want to deal with Iran. They need to deal with you because of the pressure of these sanctions.
Well, it seems like the U.S.
Huh?
The fourth one was stockpiles.
Yeah, the enriched uranium. To get the, I'm sorry, not just when I mention enriched uranium, it's not just to stop enriching uranium in Iran, but to get the 7,000 kilos of low enriched uranium out. That's the enriched uranium, both the stockpile and the quantity. They can get fuel rods from the outside and have a civilian program. They do not need domestic enrichment in order to have nuclear power in Iran.